Yeah, from Bentley Systems. Cohesive's now being merged back into Bentley. So yeah, today we're going to talk about, and sorry, one of my monitors just gone, is how we're building collaborative digital twins with our partners. So a few of the examples that we've done in the past quarter is what we're going to do. So I'm going to present 3 of them very quickly, and Zoobs is going to present Urban City Challenge that we've done with Google and other partners. So also working with transit, we're doing some work with Dr. Daniel Mitchell from the University of Glasgow and his team and Harriet Watt on various things. So yeah, please have a look at what Daniel's been promoting, also similar to John. But then look forward to towards the end of the year where we're looking to put some more presentations together on some of the other efforts that we're doing. We recently also carried out a digital twin workshop with Kaunas at Kaunas University with some of their partners. And again, this is available on the web if you want to walk around Kaunas University and walk through those. Also, we'll try and put together some information around the Cesium Developer Conference. It was completed on the 25th of June, 2025 with various partners. But also on the back of that, we've announced another cohort with iTwin Activate program. So if you are building digital twins and you want to build them with Cesium, have a look at the Cesium cohort and see if you can want to have some investment from the cohort as well. Application shut Friday the 25th of July. So with that, I'd like to hand over to Zoobs and the exciting stuff that we did with the Urban Tech Challenge at Dublin. Zoobs, over to you.
Thank you. I'm going to be a bit, can you see my screen, Glenn? I think it's all good.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Right. So I'm going to be a bit controversial here. You know, if I, by the way, I also, besides working Bentley, I also sit as a co-chair in Digital Twin special group by the OGC, Open Geospatial Consortium. So I know a bit too about Digital Twin, but if I say Digital Twin, it conjures up imagination, right? The word is so vague, it's open to interpretation. It opens up this debate and discussion that hinders practical innovation. Why am I calling practical? Because it's easy to innovate, but is it useful? Is it scalable? So we set up this Urban Tech Challenge with our partners at Google, Dublin City University as a tactical effort to test that feasibility and find that value of open composable technology stack in this complex urban environment. So 4 partners, 120 guests, 85 participants in the challenge, which created this 11 cross-disciplinary teams. We had 16 hours, but it's not 16 hours in 16 hours duration, but only 8 hours of development in effect. And 3 innovation focus group, and they were 3D urban planning with geospatial data, urban mobility, flood forecasting. They were the 3 urban focus areas, and there were 3 winners and 3 special awards and 3 best winners there. Right. So each of those 11 team members had these empowered team. They had an urban expert, you know, who understood the business, and a subject matter expert. It had a UX designer. It had data analyst, and had front-end developer. They were all part of this team composition for 11 teams that were there. Why did we do these kind of team composition? Was basically to balance out. I mean, this is my 3rd hackathon, by the way. So I know when we go into hackathons, we typically do more on the how is far more bigger than the why. You know, we end up doing technology far more understanding the scalable aspect of things, in industry scalability. So we try to create that empowered team to make sure we have balance between the why, what, and how. And in essence, what we did, food is my first passion, or cooking is my first passion. So I'm using cooking metaphors here. So we're essentially giving them the ingredients. The ingredients was a platform, a Cesium platform in this case. We used Google APIs. They were the mobility APIs, the places APIs, the flooding APIs, obviously 3D tiles and 2D maps as well. Data libraries that we kindly got from Dublin. People brought their own data as well if they didn't want that, so they preloaded their data sets. They were told to bring one use case in mind, and then the imagination is up to them to say what could be created. The interesting part was that each team was encouraged to identify more than one user. It's easy because if we did one user, it ends up being an app. So, hey, what it would be like if you created an ecosystem where your story impacts both more than one user. So these are the commonalities they identified as each of these 11 teams were created: public authorities, citizens, private sector, and emergency services. These were how they sort of identified their use cases. So you can see majority were public authorities, public, and then private, and then a few use cases in emergency there. Once again, the interesting part over here is when we created these urban tech challenges, by sheer organic output, these were the common outcomes that they all sort of created. These teams were not talking to each other, right? So they just sort of identified what they wanted to create. Enhanced public safety. They wanted urban spaces to be far more operational, stakeholder engagement, so they could engage both inside the department and with their citizens. They were very interested in cost reduction, so they wanted to make sure that they were efficient in their approaches, and sustainability, of course. So you can see it's not just about the tech, what they want to identify. They want to justify that this has what they wanted to create, what has scalable and practical use cases. That it's not just a Dublin story or a one customer's app. It has a global kind of they were thinking global. So here are some of those use cases that we sort of picked up on the top 3D risk map that one of the teams identified how they can use the 3D space with the overlapping that with incident maps and using Google APIs what's the best route to go there. And let me sort of run that with you and so you can have a look at it. So here. So this is a Cesium platform, and remember they had only 8 hours to do this thing. And they brought their data, they brought all their station areas that they currently have into the platform. They also started doing what they call socioeconomic factors, which is basically trying to say which area has the highest population that's prone to could be prone to accident, embedded with power with reports, and then they could sort of navigate and find out what's the best way to go there. This one is quite interesting. The flood alert tools. Here, a team started combining various sensors together that they brought to the table. So they plugged in water level sensors, then identified sponge capacity, brought in the pipe network information, and then also some stressed pipes that they would be there, so they could identify the flood simulation controls here. Now they sort of tested also. You can't see the hydraulic model here. They could also bring the hydraulic models from our Bentley products, but it could be from any other product. Then they started showing sort of sea level visualizations here. Yes, it sounds like yes, I can see what that is, but the sheer
30 seconds left.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Thank you. And the sheer idea of bringing all these data sets together is very interesting. I can show you more, but the whole idea is they did this in 8 hours. And that's the part that's quite interesting. And what they brought in is the ability to see what they can do and then explore further what they can do after that, right? So the first side is raising a set of awareness of the data set that they had, breaking down the data silos. Thank you.
To Glenn and Pia, for the DT collaboration, what was the thinking and benefits of setting an 8-hour timescale? Was a longer period considered?
That's a very good question. And in fact, many of the participants did ask that exact same question. The intent was, yes, it could be sort of longer, but by making it shorter, there was a drive for action. What would they pick that can be done in 8 hours? What would that be? So it was a sense of prioritization. That being said, what they have now done is taken this use case, and now they're taking the time to expand it. So they're taking the use case from here and then going to their individual organizations and making it more thicker, more technology centric. So that was the intent.
So the last question here, and you have about 10 seconds to answer it. That's all right. Is other hackathon outputs going to be published for others to look at?
Some will be. Many of these things are then fed back on the GitHub, so that's there for sure. Next steps are people would then innovate and make it more, expand the solutions further themselves.